Hi, it's Mark Murphy, and this is TravelTube.com. And I've got an interesting segment today because my neighbor John Walters did a trip to Ireland, and he used a travel agent for the first time in how long, John?
Oh, decades. 30 years?
Decades.
Over 30. Probably
So,
close to 40.
so a typical travel agent would look at my neighbor John Walters and be like, you know what, that guy never travels. Why would I waste my time, reaching out to him or communicating with him, which would be a huge mistake because, John, you did this trip in a way that was all first class,
Yes.
starting with the plane.
Yes.
So you flew first class.
Yep.
What was that like?
Unbelievable. I've never been treated like that, like it was unreal.
First time in first class?
Yes.
How hard is it to go back to not flying first class?
It's going to be hard. We just had a trip this weekend and we were slammed in the back and it's like, how did we do it?
Yeah, you're like, this sucks. So you booked this trip and you found this travel agent. Now, was this a travel agent you looked up online, or was this somebody that the family knew? What was the connection?
My fiance Kelly has been friends with this. His name is Tom Ward, a premier travel agent out of Springfield Township, Pennsylvania. They've been in business, their family, for over 40 years, putting trips together, and their specialty is Ireland trips.
Oh, so they actually specialize
Yes.
specifically in
Yeah,
Ireland?
but they'll send you anywhere you want to go in the world, but they specialize in the Ireland trips.
So how did you find them? Was it a connection you had? Or?
Yes, Kelly went to school with Tom.
Oh,
And
wow.
they're Irish Catholic families. There's like 6, 7 kids in each family, and it's just
They all
one
knew
of
each
the,
other.
Yeah, one of the kids
Okay.
she went to school with, all the brothers and sisters.
So what was the benefit of using this guide to book this trip?
It's just, for me, it's just the peace of mind, and just the logistics of laying it out, just the tickets, the hotels, just getting the tour set up, and just everything that we seen was laid out in that itinerary, and it just was like clockwork.
And what
without
did you?
missing a step.
So did you give them a budget? Did you say, hey, we're going to spend 15 grand. What can you do? Or was it more like, hey, we want to do this top tier, and what would you suggest we do?
More or less, yeah, to that. And we told them, well, we're going to fly first class because this is a once-in-a-lifetime trip, and just like nice accommodations, not real over the top. That'd be super expensive, but in my price range, that was very nice. It
Got
was
it.
like all the accommodations were very nice hotels. Everything, it was great.
What was the best aspect of the trip? Was it the driver, the guide? What was it?
Our private driver.
And he was also a guide. And was he
Yes.
with you from the start to finish? How'd
Yes,
that work?
yes. We had another driver take us from Dublin Airport to the hotel, dropped us off. We spent the night, and then it was the next day that we were picked up by Purick, our driver, and it was somebody that Tommy got, and it was just unreal. Nice gentleman, unbelievable.
Was this a guy they've used before?
Yes.
They probably used it for other clients,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Did they use it for the family, or like a family trip? Because like you said, Kelly had been to Ireland
Yes.
before. Had she ever done that private drive?
No, she's never been with the private driver, but that was the best thing we could have done. It was a nice Mercedes-Benz van, like a travel van, and it was just immaculately clean. And Purick was just always dressed. He was a gentleman, opening doors, moving stuff, very super knowledgeable of the country, and just a personal guy. Anywhere he went, he would talk to people and new people, and it was a hoot. Like we were hanging out with local people.
So, and how important was that? Like, if you had done it differently without that personal touch, how different would that have been?
I think we would have been lost. Just
Okay.
even just driving around in a foreign country. As far as me, I'm a little bit older, but it wigs me out a little bit. I get anxiety from
Well,
that.
driving on the other side of the road.
Yes,
That's,
and you got a peace of mind with this. You're going to go to the right spot. You're not going to get lost. You're going to be on time.
right.
And it was unbelievable. Yeah.
How regimented was the trip? Was it very like flexible, or was it regimented where like we're going to be here at noon, and then at 3 o'clock we're going to be here, and at 5 o'clock, or was it more?
Yeah, he laid that out to where, everything was like on a time schedule, but there was plenty of time. It wasn't that we were rushed.
Got it.
Like when we went to Giants Causeway, we had our vouchers and our tickets through Tommy, and everything, he got us there on time. Everything went through, and we even did, I forget the name of the town, where The Quiet Man was filmed, an old Irish countryside town, a great movie. And we went there and went on a tour for that. And he started getting upset. We thought we were late, and we were looking at the itinerary. He said, "No, Purig, we got like another half hour." He goes, "Oh, okay, all right, I see it now." So it was all, yeah.
So he was definitely going to keep you on schedule.
Oh, yes.
But it was your schedule. It wasn't like his schedule. It was
No.
it was what you guys
Yep.
decided with your travel agent. What would you tell people that have never used a travel agent? Because this is the first time you used one in decades, and you really didn't use one because you were using it as a kid.
Yep.
Your dad and mom would book like some
Exactly.
getaways for you once a year. That's what we used to do. We used to get in the car and go to Chicago for 2 weeks, and that was our summer vacation because I was born in Chicago. So what would you tell people who've never used a travel agent?
I would definitely use it. And like for me, it's just, I could never do it. You know, it would take me forever. And it's just here. And then he talked to us 2 or 3 times. We sat down with him. We booked it, 8 months in advance, 6 months in advance, whatever it was. Always in communication with him. If things were changing, he would help us and tell us this and
How
that.
knowledgeable was this guy?
Super knowledgeable.
Had he been to Ireland a bunch of times?
Yes, a lot. Yeah, I think he goes a couple times a year, and he travels a lot. He's all over.
He's
the
always
place.
checking out the properties.
Yes.
So were you staying in properties that he was personally familiar with? In some cases, I would assume. In some
Yes,
cases.
he said he stayed in a couple of the hotels that
Yep.
we booked, and they were all like nice hotels.
Right, like a 4-star type
Yes.
of level.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
what would be the equivalent in the U.S.? Like a Marriott type of hotel?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like a Hilton, Marriott. It's not like a Hotel 6 or nothing like that.
Motel 6. Motel 6. So you were in the unions, you were working your ass off, you raised a family, you didn't really have time to travel, but now you're retired,
Yes.
you've got your cash flow, you've got your pensions, you've got a beach house, you're getting married. You'd be a really good prospect because if I'm thinking about, you know, when people retire, the baby boomers, you know, you're at the trailing edge of the baby boomers. As they retire, the number one thing they want to do is travel.
Yes.
So are you already thinking about your next trip?
Yes. Yeah, we're going to, we have a little trip down to Merle, and we do that every year, but the next one will be when my fiance retires, probably in about 1.5 to 2 years, and then we're going to start planning a trip then. You know, she either wants to go on an African safari or go to like Austria and Bavaria, that area there in the Alps, and see that in the summer when it's warm, or go to the Seychelles. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
So, you know, that'll be the next big one that we'll go.
I know
and it'll be first class too.
Well, flying to Africa in coach. Wouldn't recommend it if you can afford it. Yeah, definitely want to at least get business class. So that's interesting. Now, what would you say? Because like when I think about, like if you're a travel agent, you might be in a neighborhood with someone like John. You might not think of John as a prospect because in some cases you're thinking, oh, you know, I only deal with these high-end clients that want to go to the Four Seasons, or they want to go to Tahiti or Bora Bora, or you know, they want to go to Hawaii for 3 weeks. But you're missing out on so many prospects because as baby boomers retire, they now have the time, and as soon as Kelly retires, you're gonna have a lot more time.
Yes.
He's got all the time in the world right now, but his fiance still works, so you can't get away for, you know, months at a time. But the amount of money that these folks have to spend on travel, the amount of time they have, they're all around you. John lives across the street from me here at the beach, and I never would think of John as flying in a flatbed first class seat if I was a dumb travel agent. I wouldn't think of John spending a lot of money to go and have a private guide and a private driver the entire trip while I was in Ireland. So don't discount based on your preconceived ideas, because there are, what, 10,000 baby boomers retiring every day or some crazy number? I mean, it's a crazy number. So that's something to think about. And for you, the fact that the first time you really booking a trip, you turn into a travel agent to book it. What motivated was it Kelly saying, hey, I know this guy, if we're thinking about going to Ireland,
Yeah.
we've used him before.
Yep, exactly.
And then you had all the confidence in the world because it was coming from a person you trust.
Yes.
What happens now that you're back? What happened after you took the trip, you came back? What did the agent do? Did he follow up with you?
Yeah, he gave us when we came back, he touched base with us through an email, it was, and just said, how was the trip? If you need, just let me know and all that. And the way I am, old school, I picked the phone up and called him and told him thank you.
Yeah.
You know, it was,
Such a great trip.
Yeah, unreal.
Was there anything you would change?
No, not at all.
No.
No.
And what was your favorite aspect of Ireland as a destination?
I just think the scenery and the architecture is like, it's breathtaking. You know, you look back and me being in the construction industry and seeing stuff that's like thousands of years old, like how did they build it? You know,
Right.
it's just mind boggling. How did they do this?
Yeah.
And the people were
Go to
fantastic.
go to Egypt and look at the pyramids. You'd be like, what the heck?
And we've seen a lot of stuff. We've seen ruins that were like 500 years old, and they were all disappeared during the famine. And then the Celtics, there was ancient Celtic symbols in the ground that were like 3,000 or 4,000 years old. And then we've seen tombs, and we're hiking up hills that. This is no joke. Like an old man like me, like I made it, but it was like.
It was a workout.
Oh yeah, you were tired at the end of the night. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great.
You had
yeah.
no problem sleeping with the jet
No,
lag? And,
no,
yeah.
no, it was all good. Yeah, no,
That's
everything
great.
was good.
That's great. What would you tell somebody who hasn't, let's say a travel agent who hasn't been finding new prospects, they're struggling. If somebody called you out of the blue or somebody sent you an email, assuming obviously for this you had an agent that you knew through a family connection, but what if you didn't? What would be the first thing you would do?
Oh my God. Well, the first thing would be to go online and start looking for stuff, and I would get lost. I would just be overwhelmed. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, because there's just too many options out
the
there. Right?
anxiety and everything, and just booking the airline tickets and the hotels and have everything planned out the way you did. And when we were talking about it, me and Kelly, we were talking about it last summer because it was going to be our major birthday for her, 60 years old when we left. We got to go talk to Tommy Ward. And that's what everybody says. Let's go talk to Tommy Ward and sit down with him. And he just started out and he just moved along and got everything together. And it was like, here you go, let's do it. And and another thing is like we talk about the price and all that. And we're at the Jersey Shore right now. But if you look how much it is to stay at a house at the Jersey Shore for a week, it's almost as much as you're going to spend going to Ireland.
Right.
Except for the airfare.
Right.
Because we bumped the airfare up to first class.
Of course. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because like you could easily spend 10 grand to rent a house for a week down here.
Yes.
Easy 10 grand.
Yep.
And I mean, you might put 3 families in there,
Yes.
split it up, and you don't have the airfare, but then you got to go out to dinner.
Yep.
You gotta. I mean, to me, I was always like, yeah, the week at the shore, because I gotta do my own laundry. I gotta make my own food, or then I gotta wait in the line for a restaurant for 2 hours. Like that's annoying, and it's interesting because I find that a lot of people. I do love the family get-togethers because that's what we do. Like our house, as you know,
Yep.
there's always cars because there's always family and friends coming to visit. I call it freeairbnb.com. All I ask is for a good review on your stay when you come to my house. But that's what we love about it. But I've also been to 80 countries. So it's not like, oh, I got to get on a plane and go somewhere. However, you bring up a great point. If you think about what you'd spend to do a local vacation, you can get on a plane. I mean, Ireland, you could spend 10, 12 grand easy, maybe even more with the airlines. But at the same time, you could spend a lot less going to a place like Portugal or going to, you could go to Africa for that kind of money. 5 grand a piece, you can go to African safari plus airfare. I've got a really good operator that I'm sure Tom knows if he sells African safari. So before you decide, I'll make sure you know who the owner is, and he personally takes you as part of that trip. But you got to book it through Tom.
Yeah, we'll definitely look into that, and that's wherever Kelly wants to go because it's her retirement. That'll be our next one in like a year and a half when she says that's enough and to get out, and she's close.
So as far as like guys in your industry, you're a union guy. I grew up with grandpa was a pipe fitter. My brother was a laborer. You know what I mean? Like, so I've been around the union folks, right? And most people don't think of like, oh, he's a blue collar guy. He's going to go travel to some exotic destination. Is that incorrect, or is that a correct assessment? What would you say?
There's
'Cause
some
you've got
retired.
guys.
There's some retired members that do some travel, and it's all up to the individual and how they did their career.
Right.
Like,
If they have the resources, right?
Yes, and if they, worked hard and were employable and stayed steady, you're going to get a decent pension. You'll get a decent annuity.
Yep.
And then you know, your Social Security, you can have a really good life.
You can have a great retirement, and
But-
these guys could travel. And are you
Yes.
finding that they're wanting to travel?
Yes. Yeah, there's like we have a luncheon every year at Christmas time, and we all get together, and everybody, you know, goes all over, and you know, maybe one trip a year, or once every 2 years.
Got it.
And we all said we don't want to be the richest people in the graveyard. We're going to spend this stuff.
There's a book called Die Broke, if you haven't read it. It was written, gosh, 20 years ago at least. And I told my mom to read it because they said, you know, old school, like, we're going to leave you some money. And I was like, no, spend everything, die broke. And there's a way to die broke without being broke before you die.
There you go.
You know, annuities are one of the ways. It's kind of funny. Well, this has been great, John. Appreciate your insights.
I want to thank you so much.
And what's interesting is, you know, the first thing I think of as an entrepreneur, when you say like these guys get together, you know, they do these luncheons, this and that. If I'm a travel agent and I have a connection to any of those guys, I'm basically saying, hey man, here are my cards. If you guys are doing this luncheon, maybe I can come in and maybe I could buy dessert for everybody that's going to be there. How many people show up for this?
I'd say there's probably about 200.
Oh my God, well maybe I'm not going to buy it for everybody. But maybe there's something you can do, or maybe you go in with a larger travel agency group and you say to yourself, hey, are you guys paying this out of your own pocket?
Well, it'll come out of the general fund, and
Out
we're
of general
retired.
fund.
We're retirees, and we paid our dues. Now
Oh,
it's-
so you get to go do that.
Yes.
So would they allow someone to come in and talk about something
that would
if
be
they
something.
sponsored
Yeah,
something?
you would have to talk to the leadership about that, or.
But
anything
again,
like that.
that's the first thing I would think of. It's like, here's 200 prospects. How many of those are retired?
No, they're all 200.
All
of them
200
are-
retired?
Yeah, well, it's all the retirees get
So,
together.
and
Between 150 and 200 members retired.
every year they get together for this luncheon.
Yes, and everybody who's retired out of the local who's collecting a pension can go to this. And, you know, when you get older, if it's free, it's for me.
So again, like, I just in covering this. So up to 200 guys get together, they have a luncheon, and you could speak to leadership at the union and say, hey, we'd like to do something nice for your members, but also it's a business opportunity for us. If you'd be okay, we'd like to sponsor X and come in and talk about whatever it happens to be that you want to talk about. Is it overall trips to Ireland? Is it cruises? Is it whatever it happens to be? And that would be a great marketing idea. I don't know if they'll let you in. I don't know if they'll let you sponsor something, but why does it hurt to ask? That's you just ask, and all they can say is no, and then you go next.
Yep.
That's what I love about, you know, running a business, because that's how you got to think. It's like, and how many? You're one union,
Yes,
one local.
yes,
Once I got in with one, I could probably get access to a few others, right?
yes. Yeah, because we're, as pipe fitters and plumbers, we're all under one roof. We're all one international union.
So the 200.
In North America, Canada, and the United States.
So that group of 200, how many other groups like that are meeting in the tri-state area?
There's probably in the tri-state area. There's a lot of United Association of Pipe Fitters and Plumbers. There's probably 5 or 6. There's 4 in this state. There's 1 in Philly. That's steam fitters, and then the plumbers are there. Delaware. There's a lot. There's a lot of
So
members.
you could have 5 or 6 opportunities throughout the year to speak to a group, and forget about, no offense to the pipe fitters, but think about any other group that gets together.
Yes.
Any other group that brings their members together, especially if they're retired, because remember, the number one thing they want to do, travel. They want to travel.
Love it.
We got a business idea out of it. What do you guys think? I think that's great. Have you signed up yet at TravelTube.com? If you haven't, you're missing out on content like this. Follow us on all your social media. Remember, we got that cool logo. If we don't have the background here, we got the American flag back here. But remember, it's TravelTube.com. There's a lot of imitators that, they don't feature travel advisors. So anyway, that's John Walters. He's my neighbor. And great to get some insights from a guy who hasn't traveled in decades and just went like Mac Daddy to Ireland. He's seen more Ireland than I did. My name's Murphy. There's something wrong with this. All right.